Welcome to the Mayor's Corner. I'm Mayor James Boyd, and on this edition of the Mayor's Corner, very special segment, we have our newest, I shouldn't say newest member of Development Services, should probably say one of our key members of Development Services, Kristen Vincent, who is our GIS manager. But before we get into all that kind of stuff, let's learn about who you are. Kristen, how about a little background?
Sure. So, well, first, thanks for having me today.
You're welcome.
I guess as many GIS people are, you don't really go to college thinking you're going to be a GIS person.
Sure.
So my original career path was to become a forensic chemist, actually.
Forensic chemist.
So I still do have that chemistry degree. I finished that through, and then in grad school I switched to GIS and mapping, and it's really interesting because there are a lot of correlations between chemistry and GIS and mapping, which one might not necessarily think about.
Well, I am a little bit here. I'm connecting that. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So just how how things flow and things move, and in space and place, it's just all geographic. So, but yeah, in grad school I made the leap over to GIS, and that's where we are now.
Awesome. Well, now we're saying GIS, and we say GIS. What does GIS stand for?
Yeah, so GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems.
All right.
And essentially that means using a computer system to store and manage spatial data, or any kind of data that has a geographic component to it. And it's more than just maintaining data and having this data. You can also analyze it, use data to make decisions, as well as visualize it through making maps.
Through making maps, that's a good thing. So part of Development Services, obviously, and we're promoted, we'll say, because you've been with Pere as our GIS manager. So on the website, it explains a lot of stuff that GIS does, or a lot of the different types of maps. Can you maybe go through maybe one or two of those types of maps that residents can access and use?
Yeah, so a lot of what the GIS Division does is manage citywide data. So anything with this geographic component to it. So we work with the engineering department to map things like where the manholes are, the fire hydrants, like our city parks where we are now. We have that all
mapped out.
All mapped out. Yep. Street trees, street signs, all sorts of things.
Streets themselves are mapped out, correct?
Yep, exactly. And one really cool tool that we have on the city website is something called DIME, like the coin.
And DIME stands for?
Pere Interactive Mapping Engine.
Great.
And that's kind of our one-stop shop, our catch-all for city GIS data that is publicly accessible. So you can go to our website, deperewi.gov, click on the maps icon, and then you will see DIME. You'll see actually a picture of a dime on there to lead you to the right place. And you can scroll through that. You can add different layers of data. You can search for your address, find parcel information. You can look up your polling place. We also have aerial imagery on there, and we also have historic aerial imagery, I believe.
And how recent is the aerial imagery?
So the most recent was 2023.
Oh,
so
that's very recent then.
Yep, just this past year we worked with the county to get an updated data set, and the oldest, I believe, is 1938.
Oh, it goes back to 19. So you can do the Dropbox thing, and you could search 1938, your parcel, to see what it looks like.
Yep. Exactly.
Wow, isn't that something? That is really cool. And then residents can I access that a lot during the day, and when I get questions from residents, typically a day or a week doesn't go by where I don't direct them to DIME. And they're very grateful for it, didn't even know it existed. So definitely beneficial. What else do we do in GIS?
Yeah, so the GIS Division also manages the city's drone program. So we started our drone program back in 2019. We had 1 drone and 5 pilots, and we've since grown to a double-digit number of pilots and 4 drones.
Really?
Yep.
And the most recent drone is a little different than the other ones. Can you describe the most recent one that we just purchased?
Yep, so we actually have 2 that are a bit unique that we purchased last year.
Okay.
One is a tethered drone, so it's looks like your basic drone, but it's on an actual wire. So it has different regulations with it, and it's good for traffic monitoring. Police and fire can use it for active events on scene.
I think fire department used it, I think within the last 8 months or a year, an apartment fire. And they used it, I think it had thermal imagery on the drone as well too. It has that capability.
Yep.
And it was very beneficial, the fire department said.
Yeah, definitely. It never ceases to amaze me, all the different technology.
And there's more that you don't even know about, right?
Yep, exactly. And one of our other newer drones is a little guy that's used for for indoors mainly. It can be used outdoors,
Sure.
but mainly for indoors, for being able to, go into different buildings and different events and see things that way.
That is great. Well, a multifaceted department that you have and that you lead, and we've learned a lot. Obviously, we started this thing, and we'll probably finish it with the drone shot coming, to and fro. But there are many uses for the drone, and I'm glad you explained that part of it. And also many uses for your department that you're responsible for. My hope is, because we'll have little videos while we're talking, that residents will see this and recognize the usefulness for your department and how they can it can benefit all the residents. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, well, one of the things that I love about GIS is that the world is inherently spatial, inherently geographic. So to be able to work to provide these services and these maps and features for our residents as well as for our staff, because a lot of our maps are used internally as well, but also for the general public, it's really great to be able to work on that.
Well, that is great. This is just another example how I want to give the residents a little insight as to what the city of De Pere does. We're so multifaceted, and this is one very good example. So Kristen, congratulations on your promotion.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, and I'm sure you're going to tell everyone, you're open for business. If anyone has any questions, please connect with your office, correct?
Yep, definitely.
All right, thank you, Kristen.
Thank you so much.
I'm Mayor James Boyd. Thanks for joining me on this episode of the Mayor's Corner.